All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It's a Monday night. That means it's time for the Urban Conservative. We got a special guest in the building. Let's get ready to rock, y'all.
Welcome to the Urban Conservative Podcast, where we do not believe that avocado toast can save the planet or the world will end, because cars use gasoline. You won't hear that Wi-Fi is a basic human right, or that billionaires are secretly supervillains. Here, we do not believe that electric cars run on hopes and dreams. You also won't hear that anyone who disagrees with us is a fascist, or that socialism will make everyone rich. You won't be gender affirmed or offered any opportunity to share your preferred pronouns. If this causes you any discomfort, please rest assured that we couldn't possibly care less. For everyone else, thank you, and please stand by.
My fellow Americans, it's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. This is without a doubt the best podcast on the internet. It's about to go down here on the Urban Conservative.
3, 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It is a Monday night. That means you're tuned into the Urban Conservative Podcast. Yours truly, Abdul Ali, one half of the Urban Conservatives. My twin brother, Raheem Architect Soto, is rocking with us, but he's off camera today. What up, bro?
Everything is good, man. I'm having a terrible hair day. I'm feeling bloated. I'm feeling short today. I'm just playing. I'm not in my usual environment, so I couldn't get on camera. But everything is good, man. Good weekend. We finally announced our special election out here in the town of Southampton. So shouts out to our Southampton town candidate for council, Rick Martell. That is March 18th. We got a special election. So I'm pumped about that, man. Had a good weekend, coming off a nice, relaxing weekend. And, this the first week down. We're like 7 days in, right?
It's 7 days in, and actually, we've got a special guest we're going to talk with about this first week of the Trump administration. Before we jump into that, I do have to give a massive, wonderful shout out to the family over at Gyra Family Farms up in the good space of Durham, North Carolina. They got the meats, they got the eggs, the herbal teas, the fresh herbs. Got to give a big shout out to Emmanuel and his wife, Valerie, for sponsoring what we do here. Great folks. We really appreciate your sponsorship of the Urban Conservative. Again, Gyra Family Farms is the place to get your fresh meat, your fresh eggs, herbal teas. They have a farm share membership. They run a summer camp through the Gyra Farms Foundation. So many good things going on, fam. Make sure if you want to get it fresh off the farm, you support Gyra Family Farms, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, what's important to me about this, and I know we need to be supporting American-owned businesses, but, we getting ready to come into Black History Month, right? So let's support our African-American, Black, whatever adjective floats your canoe. Let's get out there and support this local business. So excited about our guest, bro.
But I got to give him one other thing I'm going to say is I love the fact that he called it Yardbird. He just didn't put chicken. He put Yardbird up there. Got to give him that. All right. So look, guys, we're going to jump straight into this. We've got a very special guest joining us on the podcast tonight, an alumni of the show, somebody we highly respect. So honored to have back on the podcast with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the Urban Conservative, our good friend, Colonel retired Laurie Buckhout from North Carolina's 1st Congressional District. Laurie, what's happening?
Good to see you guys. Hey, how are you doing? You're like my fellow road warrior from the campaign. You're my fellow redleg.
Yeah.
Fellow soldier. It's just good to see you. You are sporting that fabulous shirt, but I do not have one of yours, and you've got to rectify that because I'll just wear the hell out of it. I just want you to know.
We will do it. We will do it. And we'll talk offline about what's coming down the pike. So first things first, Laurie, I saw you were up in D.C., had an opportunity to go spend time with President Trump up there at the inauguration. At the outset, just give us your experience. What was it like being up there for such a historic inauguration?
The energy was incredible, but the positivity was incredible. It was this wonderful collegial excitement. Everyone was brothers and sisters. You didn't feel edgy. There was no hint of violence or any of that. Colder than anything. But strangers are helping each other out. They're like, hey, I got some extra heat things for my gloves. Do you want those? We're just taking care of each other, right? So nothing like, oh my goodness, the dog's going nuts. Nothing like some of what you've seen on TV with all the previous violence and everything. Friendly, fun, insanely cold. Went to a couple of balls. Did not get inside the rotunda. I was not important to get inside the rotunda. That was a pretty big deal. But just the happiness and the like, hey, this is the start of a golden age. Very exciting, very positive.
Well, good. Glad to hear that. I was up there in DC, made a couple of balls and events myself. Pause. So I want to jump right in, right? Oh, we already got a shout out coming in. We love Laurie already coming in. Look at that.
Oh, Renee,
Fresh off the gate.
Hello, girl. We love Renee. Hello, girlfriend.
All right, I see Jada in the comments. Renee shouts out. So let's jump right in. I want to talk to you. The first thing I want to get your take on is this guy right here. Okay, Pete Hegseth confirmed as the next Secretary of Defense. What do you see as somebody who is a retired colonel? Served, come from a lineage of veterans. What are you expecting to see from the Hegseth Department of Defense?
It's been a very depressing last 15 years in the U.S. Army and in the military. I retired in 2010. Obama came in 2008. And the first thing he began to do was to neuter our military. He completely revamped our national military strategy. And I was in the Pentagon at the time. So one of my jobs was to help with writing the Army strategy. And the Army strategy goes under the Joint Strategy, Joint Warfighting Operations, which goes under the National Military Strategy, which goes under the National Security Strategy. So they're all nested, right? One of the first things Obama did when he came in, and this was public, but nobody talked about it, was take the word, oh God, the dog, Islamic extremism out of everything and start talking about domestic extremism. So what people don't talk about enough is that he turned the entire national security apparatus inside, not worrying about external threats like we used to, but looking at the inside, looking at domestic terrorism, looking at Catholic churches, looking at, patriots with flag tattoos, all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
So this is such a huge turnaround. It's such a breath of fresh air. Everything he's doing is constitutional. It is correct. It's about lethality. It's about defending the nation. And it's about protecting and defending the Constitution of the United States. He's spot on.
You know what I hope he brings back? And this is going to be showing my age
hold on.
here.
Hold on. Let me see.
PDUs.
Very close.
Exercise standards.
Oh my God.
No, I was going to say, I hope he brings back Don't Ask, Don't Tell. That was such a great policy. I don't need to. I'm not going to ask you what you do. You don't have to tell me. If more people lived a life with Don't Ask, Don't Tell, I think things would be straight. So here's one of the things I noticed initially is Secretary of Defense Hegseth talked about getting a lot of these DEI initiatives out of the military, where I think it should be a meritocracy. And I had a chance to listen to a lot of his hearings. Is there I'm just playing devil's advocate. Is there anywhere that DEI does work in the military? Just if we're playing devil's advocate, Laurie?
Well, not that I've seen. Look,
okay.
You're a black guy who served in the Army. I'm a white woman who served in the Army. We're both minorities as far as the Army's overall structure, right? You and I both worked as hard as anybody else to do what we did. So when I went to airborne school, you were still running in boots. The women ran with the men. It was all one standard, Didn't go to Ranger school. I would have died, but that's another story. But I don't think anything that you and I did in order to serve in the military compromised any standards, right? I don't think any DEI has done anybody any good. What I see now is a military less lethal. Honestly, I look at pictures of who's serving there, and I see them talking about their jobs, and their jobs are all about making other people feel good. And I'm like, that's not your job. Your job is to be lethal and support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. you're talking about feelings, you're talking about validating people, you're talking about being inclusive. Let's talk about lethality. Um, who's afraid? Who's afraid of an army that way? Look at what China does. They're teaching their kids to assemble and disassemble Chinese SKS rifles in like kindergarten.
Mm. Facts. So one thing I noticed being in the military, I noticed that even the cooks would have to go qualify, right? Like I that was the whole process. Like, no, you're a soldier first. You
Yeah.
will go deal with the enemy first, but you also happen to cook. Like you do that over there. But one other thing, when we talk about national defense, we talk about national security. I thought this was an interesting pick here. Kristi Noem over Homeland Security. What are your thoughts about seeing Kristi Noem over Homeland Security?
I'll tell you what, she's tough, she's smart, she's been a governor, she understands the Constitution, and having defended the borders of her state and having, as a governor, have had to deal with the realities of illegal immigration and crimes and crime and drug and everything else. Governors have nightmares of dealing with that. She is an absolute expert, of that. I mean, I think the only person who could be qualified with her is the Texas governor right now. You know what I mean? Uh, I think as a governor, she is a perfect pick. I think she's tough. She's articulate. She's young enough to be strong enough to run hard. I mean, face it, we don't want another guy like Biden tottering around at 80 trying to get stuff done. This is not an octogenarian's game. She's young, she's strong, she's smart, she's articulate. She's got tons of credibility, having been a governor. I think she's just great for the job. Love it. Love it.
Well, look, you talked about not being an octogenarian's game, right? And I happened to just go look. First of all, they've revamped the White House website like ASAP, which I absolutely love. Like they did that super quick. But I was just looking at all this, right? And this is just in the last like 24 hours. Call with Prime Minister Modi of India, Trump's call with Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa of Bahrain, White House statement on. I mean, a guy named Abdul Ali, you got to kind of work it out. But I look at this, right, and I go, where was this level of transparency from the Biden administration? Where was that?
You know what? That having been said, there are 70-year-olds and then there are 70-year-olds, and Trump, his energy is unmatched. I mean, just from the day he sat and going, and then he's zipping down to Western North Carolina, and then he's zipping on the same day out to California. Honestly, the man's got energy to spare. He told me he sleeps like 45 hours a night, 4 to 5, not 45, 4 to 5 hours a night. And he goes, I can't sleep anymore. I mean, my brain's going. I'm up, I'm making notes, I'm putting phone calls in, and all that kind of stuff. He's amazing.
Yo, Ali, you know what I think I'm going to attribute that to? He hasn't had to do any liver damage repair. He's not been using internal energy and other to heal his lung because he don't smoke, he doesn't drink, he's not a partier.
Fair point.
So think about it. When your system is working like that, the energy you and I have to put towards making sure we don't Jack Daniels our kidneys out, right? He doesn't have that problem, which is, I think that's an admirable thing. And people don't really understand. Like, look, this is a guy we're talking about that's never had a drink, never had a smoke, right? And so, for the most part, fairly healthy guy. I got to imagine he's not eating fast food every day. Right?
No, he's definitely eating McDonald's every day, though. He's definitely a McDonald's guy.
I don't see him pulling into McDonald's. I'm saying he's getting McDonald's, but someone's making him McDonald's. Like they're bringing him Wagyu, and they're like
Wagyu. You know what? I will tell you though, I'm a big Diet Coke fan. Okay. I think Diet Coke has so many preservatives. It's keeping all of us Diet Coke fans. We're going, and when we do die, we will not decompose. We're going to be looking like this like forever. So
that's what I was going to say. That the petrified organs will be here forever. They'll be finding our organs later.
Ladies and
Exactly.
gentlemen, we are on the Urban Conservative. It's a Monday night. We're talking with our good friend, retired Colonel Laurie Buckhout, talking about Trump's first full week in office. We're going to come back on the other side of this quick commercial break. We're going to talk a little bit about these executive orders. Y'all don't go nowhere. Give us a share. We'll be right back on the Urban Conservative podcast. Y'all don't go nowhere.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at
This is Cash Patel here in North.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are back on the Urban Conservative podcast. Yours truly, Abdul Ali, one half of the TUC twins. My twin brother, Raheem, is with us. He's just not on camera tonight. Funky hair day and out of pocket. Oh, so Laurie, let's get down to it.
Okay.
A bunch of these executive orders have come out. ICE is not playing games. Tom Homan has hit the ground running. Have you ever met Tom Homan? Have you ever got to meet him?
I'm so sorry to say I have not. I mean, but I would embarrass myself and fangirl over him if I did. I would be. I just think he's like, I'd be like, Daddy, you're so good. You know, really. I think it's
well, one of the things I think is important when we look at some of these executive orders that have come out on DEI, on getting the federal workers back into the office, on trying to pulling us out of the World Health Organization, the January 6th hostages, we call that what it is.
Yep.
What do you see coming? Because a lot of this stuff, I know they're going to try to, there's a couple of them they're going to try to challenge in court, specifically his firing of some of these, what do you call those guys? Not solicitor generals, but you know who I mean.
Senior executives?
Yeah. I mean, but what do you think about these DEI folks trying to hide? If you saw the one in the Department of Defense, she went from senior diversity person to senior executive. How do they root that stuff out?
That was an
ATF.
Yeah.
So coming from somebody who's been in the Pentagon, how do you root that out? Root these bureaucrats out? How do you get rid of it?
You got to bring some folks in the Pentagon who know the Pentagon. I think this is something that Trump did not do it his first time, and he'll admit it. He didn't bring in trusted insiders who know what it's like up there in the Puzzle Palace and who know what it's like up there on the Hill. He had nobody to trust, right? Now he's got people he can trust. He spent the last 4 years building up that cadre. He's got to bring in some trusted insiders into the building who know where all the rats are hiding and how to pull them out by their tails and throw them out because they are there. The offices that were built. Those of us who kind of saw it beginning with Obama and those of us who were in and out of the Pentagon during that period. And some of my friends who are still in there and they know what's going on, but here's what it was like. We would say, my God, Joe, how can you stand working with that administration? They're so disgusting. But then we'd answer our own questions saying, you're doing it because you love your country. And you know that if you leave, then it's like, you are leaving that enclave of freedom that you're going to protect, which is maybe an office in the Pentagon. But what they were also doing was reporting from inside the gulag, to the rest of us what it was like in there. So there are loyalists who sucked it up during this past administration who I think should be selectively asked to stick around because they love Trump and they were just heartbroken every day they went to work. But A, they couldn't afford to retire, and B, they felt they had to defend their nation in spite of Biden.
Well, one thing I forgot to mention, which was probably one of my top favorite executive orders, was reinstatement of all of those service members who got put out because of COVID and reinstating them with back pay. That I think showed amazing leadership. I was curious. I meant to mention that one first, but what's your take on doing that? I mean, obviously the right thing to do, right?
I love it so much. But here's, but there's a whole lot to go before restitution is complete. For instance, you know this, having served, how many promotion boards did these folks miss?
Ooh.
How many command opportunities? How many PLDC slots did they miss? You know, how many, like I said, you
There's
know, how many E6 to E7 boards, how many sergeant major academies, how many things did they miss that have put them permanently behind their peers? And how do you make up for that?
Yeah, because there's time and service waivers, time and grade waivers. There's BNOC. There's like you said, PLDC. There's so much. I didn't even think about that. Like, wow, that's a lot to think about. So Hexet's gonna have his hands full trying to figure out how to deal with that whole situation. Okay,
He
very
is.
interesting.
He is. And
So
he's a super smart guy. So I'm sure they'll figure something out. But that just shows you how the last administration harmed, you know, Americans who were eager to serve. But listen, I've also heard that I've seen that recruiting has now gone through the roof now that America wants to be lethal again, right?
that's what we need. Okay. So Laurie, I'm just gonna tell you this is one of the things like my biggest pet peeve. So I'm old school army. So I push ups, sit ups, 3 mile run like physical fitness standard. I go back to that old chart, and my goal is to stay at army physical fitness standard, right? You know, it gets progressively easier the older you get.
It does, though. You're
I was
right.
it was I was talking to someone not long ago, and they said you do realize that almost 70 something percent of military age teenagers, 17, you know, and up, are not fit for military service. And I'm like, do we still have the president's physical fitness test in school? Like, do they still, is
No,
PE still a
sir.
thing?
Sir,
Yeah.
I must remind you, just as an aside, that especially in the Black and Brown and Latino community, we lead in 20 to 25 obesity rates, hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes. Right. So I do say diabetes. I just, shouts out Wilford. Diabetes.
Oh,
Yeah, love Wilford. But
love it.
I mean, just a reminder, Ali, that we're facing that, and that was also an agenda. That I think that is something that RFK or the
Yeah.
our food administration folks need to work out. Lori, have you seen this like from a military readiness perspective? Right? Am I wrong for being a little concerned that this many young people are this unsick and then this unwell, and then what does our military look like in 10 years as a result of this from your mind? Like, or should I not be worried? And I'm
Oh.
only just like, I don't know. I don't know where to, I don't know. You
Well,
got to help
no,
me.
you are spot on. There's an obesity and unhealth, if you will, illness epidemic across America right now, which is one of the reasons I love RFK and I love that "Make America Healthy Again" sort of thing. But it's not just in young people eligible to join the army; it is in people in the army. There are obesity and overweight rates over 20% in the military. And I don't say the army; I say all the services. So
Wow.
20% of serving military are overweight. But you know, I'll tell you one of the reasons that is. Used to be if a soldier could not lose weight. It's like you can't lose weight. You're not going to be fit for combat. You're going to have to leave the army, right? I mean, that's you guys know how it goes. Not
Gotta go.
everyone is privileged to serve. You have to meet standards, right? Now they have relaxed the standards so much because nobody wants to join a woke, crazy army that they're letting overweight people stay, they're letting um, people who are non-deployable stay. Let's talk about transgenders who undergo any type of surgery. You are not deployable if you have
Mm,
to be pumped full of hormones and have surgeries and all that kind of nonsense. You can't go fight a war if you honestly have to always take a testosterone shot every day, right?
mm.
It's kind of hard in combat to do that sort of stuff. So the army or the military has put up with a whole lot of folks who are not really qualified to fight because nobody wants to join and the pool's so small. I expect that to change very quickly now that we have a focus on lethality. Let me ask you a quick question. How
Mhm.
many recruiting stations have you seen in North Carolina? I saw almost none in Eastern North Carolina, but I hear there's a lot in some of these urban centers because in Eastern North Carolina, you got a bunch of kids, all colors, but you got a bunch of kids who grow up shooting and walking through the fields with a dog and a 22 or a shotgun. That's how I grew up.
Mm.
They're ready to serve the military like that.
But
Um, but they're also overwhelmingly conservative. So I don't think the woke army really even wanted them. They were putting out
mm,
recruiting commercials talking about I'm joining the army so I can support my 2 lesbian moms, that sort of thing. Remember that
What?
commercial? Remember the commercial?
I was gonna
No,
say, Ali,
thank God I didn't see that commercial. Thank God, Lori.
I need my firefighters to look like this, sir. That's what I need right there.
I need them to look like that too.
No, for the record, I'm glad I didn't see that, especially if it was an army
it up.
commercial. I'd have broke my TV. But here's the other
Look it
thing,
up.
Lori, and I noticed this. I noticed this streaming through like Facebook on a late night with nothing to do. I see a lot of people in the military making TikToks and Facebook reels, and I'm like, don't you have a job? Like, I couldn't imagine having. I didn't have time.
I can't either. I did not have time. A, my security clearance is pretty serious. B, grooming standards need to be adhered to. C, what I see on some of these TikToks and stuff like that, I'm like, as a woman, I'm like, what's up with that hair? Those nails are out of regulation. You look
Right.
fat in that uniform. It is wrinkled. What the hell's going on?
Okay,
Look,
Ali,
they wouldn't
Ali.
even let us cheat with the chloroform boots. We actually had to shine boots. They would not let us. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they wouldn't let us cheat with the. Yeah, there you go.
Core
Prime
frame.
example.
Remember those? Core frame
Yeah.
boots. Yeah.
Core frame boots. They wouldn't let us. We couldn't cheat with those. That's the army I was in, ladies and gentlemen.
Are we
are
getting
talking
rid of
with
this?
Colonel-
Are we done with this?
I think we're
Are
getting
we
rid
going
of
to
that.
see no more of this? I want to see no more of that. Like, I want no more. All right, go
I
ahead.
want to see no
Commercial.
more of that.
Commercial, because we got a lightning round. We got to get to. I can't wait.
Yes, we do, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
yeah.
You're checking out the Urban Conservative Podcast. Colonel Laurie Buckhout's with us. We're going to take a very quick commercial break and come right back with a lightning round. Don't go nowhere.
Welcome to the Urban Conservative Podcast, where we do not believe that avocado toast can save the planet or the world will end, because cars use gasoline. You won't hear that Wi-Fi is a basic human right, or that billionaires are secretly supervillains. Here, we do not believe that electric cars run on hopes and dreams. You also won't hear that anyone who disagrees with us
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Go
gentlemen.
ahead. You got it.
No, you got it.
No,
No, you
you're
go
on
ahead.
screen. You're on screen. It's weird.
Okay, I got it, ladies and
'Cause
gentlemen.
they don't
you're
see
back
your
on.
mouth moving, but they hear me, and it's like, oh, he's not talking. So where's that coming? So you do it.
You know what I got to do? I think we're gonna go get
really
a
wanna see
doll
this
made,
audio.
like a ventriloquist, a Muppet made of both of us, so that way when I'm off camera and just talking, he can like Muppet me. I think I'm gonna do that.
Oh yeah, that'll be great. That'll be great.
That'll be
You're
great.
twins, okay? Twins. You're twins. It's all good. Hey,
All right,
I put
did
a
you
hat
have any
on
mo-
when I'm having a bad hair day.
Oh, okay,
I put a
definitely.
MAGA hat on when I'm having a bad hair day. I'm just saying
Okay.
that. Bro.
Yeah, my fro will not fit in the MAGA hat right now. I let my daughter blow dry my hair. She's a hairstylist and she's been experimenting on my head. I am not going on camera. I'm gonna need a day or two.
All right. So real quick before
Oh,
we
I
go
got
to lightning
volume. If
round,
you saw this puff over here, it looked like I stuck my finger in the socket right now. It's
look
not
like a baby
happening.
lion. I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It looked like buckwheat from Saturday Night Live. It's insane right now. I can't do it. Can't do it.
real
Rob,
quick,
that is racist. Cut that out.
Oh my God, it's so racist of you, buckwheat. So listen, Lori, one last person we didn't get a chance to talk about that I definitely want to get your take on is this young lady right here, our Attorney General of the United States. Thoughts on Pam Bondi?
My girl. Did you see her like in that hearing blowing back every piece of nonsense they said? It's like they're talking about political persecution and stuff. She's like, let's talk a little bit about the lawfare of the last 4 years. I mean, she's just giving it back. It was gold. She's going to be tough. She's smart. She's loyal. But more than anyone else, she's honest. She's a constitutionalist, and that's what
Right.
we have to keep remembering every time people freak out over this administration. Like, we have a constitution. We're following it. There is nothing in here as a nation of laws, as a constitutional republic. There's nothing going on that is not completely valid per the idea of being a constitutional republic and the idea of the Constitution. There's nothing being violated. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing morally not aligned with that document. And she is on the money.
Absolutely love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, y'all know how we do here on the Urban Conservative. Each and every time a guest comes on the Urban Conservative at the tail end of the interview, for them to get the screen, full screen, they got to pass a lightning round. Raheem has worked out a lightning round for us. So, sir, let's get that lightning round cracking right around now.
Here we go. All right, put my glasses on. I got to be C for this, man. Oh boy, here we go. All right. Woo, here we go.
All right, Rob, let's go.
All right, here are your lightning round questions for this interview. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Backstreet Boys.
Pac-Man or Donkey Kong?
Oh, Donkey Kong. Pac-Man's tired, man.
Okay.
Donkey Kong, where they're throwing it down, knocking him down. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Donkey Kong.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or Family Matters?
Oh, Fresh Prince, man. Totally Fresh
Okay.
Prince. When he gets
Okay,
out of
I
the
like it.
cab, it's like, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Fresh
Michael Jackson's Thriller or Prince's Purple Rain?
Prince. Let me tell you what, Michael Jackson was talented, but man, Prince, whoo! And Purple Rain, they were both college albums for me. You have to know that. I'm old, but man, that Prince Purple Rain, shut up.
Yep.
Okay, I'm with
right.
it. Keep
All right.
rolling.
All right.
Purple Rain, baby. Woo!
The Simpsons or Ren and Stimpy?
The Simpsons. Man, I love me, especially the old Simpsons. You know, the younger get
Yeah.
a little weird, but yeah, I mean, the newest ones, old Simpsons, classic.
Okay.
Nice.
Madonna or Cyndi Lauper?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's it, baby. That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut. All
Gotta have one.
politics aside, because they're both crazy. Madonna's voice is not that great, but man, she is a very talented producer, and she really reinvents herself like every 5 minutes. She stays fresh, and I heard she had butt implants, which is fascinating to me. But you know, it's like, how do you do that? I can't imagine it. But that's how she stays fresh. She's always something new, even if it's just a new butt. I don't know. She's fascinating.
And a new face and new lips and new eyes, but
No
I
eyebrows.
digress.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay. I got a couple of more for you. Okay.
Okay.
Which national park is located near Waynesboro, Virginia, offering scenic views and recreational activities?
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There's Shenandoah Acres, but there's there's a national park we used to go to and camp in college and drink beer in. It's Something Forest National Park.
Close enough.
You're messing with me now. What is it?
Uh-huh.
What was the name of it?
Oh no, I'm not giving answers. I'm like, that was your answer. I can't fill in the answers now.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I want to know now. I want to know
you
what that
gotta
park is.
do your Googles. That's not what I'm here for, sir. It's not what I'm here for. I'm not here for answers. I'm here for questions. What is the name of the historic mansion located near Waynesboro, known for its unique architecture and excellent garden?
Monticello?
Correct. All right. Got three more here. Snoop Dogg or Old Dirty Bastard?
You know what? This is another one where totally irrelevant in terms of, culturally and politically. I think Snoop's hilarious. When I was watching the equestrian events at the Summer Olympics, watching Snoop was gold, man. I mean, watching him out there, and both he and Martha Stewart are nuts as far as I'm concerned. But it's so entertaining. I'm a Snoop fan.
Okay,
Nice.
last two, Ali. Last two. The Terminator or RoboCop?
These are great questions. Wow. RoboCop.
Okay. All right. Last but not least, I actually have like 19 more, but I'm just gonna ask this last one. I'm curious. I think I know how you're gonna answer this one.
Okay.
G.I. Joe or Transformers?
You know what? I saw the Transformer movie, and Bumblebee. When Bumblebee hit, I was just like, I'm in love. Yeah. So I'm a Transformer girl. When Bumblebee did it for me, I just thought he was the cutest thing. So yeah, I'm a Transformer girl. How about you?
I'm gonna have to go G.I. Joe because I watch it almost every other night.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, they direct the original cartoon. Like I really go to sleep
oh, I
to that.
know.
Like the
I know.
'80s cartoon, love it. All right,
Yeah.
yeah, so this one didn't make it. This was going to be my, Friends or Seinfeld.
Ooh,
Oh,
I gotta know that.
I got to see Seinfeld. Friends is Seinfeld was like they had no mercy. They were shameless. They were like like going after everybody hard. Very entertaining. Friends got a little smarmy. You know what I mean?
That's the word. I like that. Smarmy.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I like it.
Friends was a little. You're like, come on, man, be dunking on somebody. Come on, man, have
There
some
we
fun
go.
here.
There we
It
go.
wasn't
There we
easy. It
go.
wasn't tough enough. Yeah, it wasn't tough
Well,
enough.
ladies and gentlemen, Laurie has passed the lightning round. And for that, you will get the full screen here in just a moment. Please plug away. Let the folks know how they can support you. What you got coming up. The floor is now yours.
Awesome, thank you. Well, first, I have a question for you guys. Best song to open the dance floor at a wedding?
Turn down for what, Lil John?
Oh, that's a good one. Ra, what do you
Works
say?
every time.
What do you say?
At a wedding?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
At
Open
a
the dance
wedding.
floor
Open
at a
the
wedding.
dance floor at a wedding. I'm gonna have to go with, if I'm DJing, the first thing I'm gonna play is "Treat 'Em Right" by Chub Rock.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay. Listen,
1990. Yeah, yeah. Good one.
Yeah, we're gonna start there.
All right.
We'll start there.
All
I'm
right.
just gonna have
Well,
this one.
Laurie, that could also do it. That could do it.
Yeah, that's gonna make its way into the playlist for sure.
There
That
it goes.
or my new favorite for the opening a dance floor is Lil Boo Thing. I do like that one too.
There you go. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is yours, Laurie. Let them know how they can support you, catch up with you, follow you on social media, give them the spiel.
Hey, thanks a lot. Well, look, I'm on X. I'm on Facebook as usual. Having fun. Not an official candidate at this point. People are talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. And not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. Enjoying a little family time, enjoying time, walking the dog, enjoying time getting back in shape, eating real food. I mean, okay, you know how it is, a duel. You're living on barbecue. I was living on Parker's barbecue, corn sticks, and Diet Coke. And I don't think that's going to make me as healthy as Trump. So I'm back to eating vegetables again. My system had to get used to those. It was in shock a little bit. So eating vegetables and an apple every once in a while. I had a great Christmas, chilling, talking to a bunch of folks across the district. I didn't come here all that long ago, and I learned so much these last year and a half. Learning more every day, talking to conservatives across the district every day, Facebook, Messenger, texts, emails, just talking to folks and finding out more what they need. But I'm going to say one thing. This next election is going to be harder than ever because now we have given Davis 2 more years of incumbency. So Davis now has 2 more years of incumbency, and he got some good committee memberships on this last appointment for this last Congress. He came in right out of the blue and voted for Hakeem Jeffries as number 1. He voted against the Born Alive Act. He voted against keeping boys out of girls' spaces. But for folks who wanted to vote Libertarian instead of vote for Republican, we lost this election because of that. So what we have is we've given Don Davis 2 more years to strengthen his base and to raise money. It's going to be a harder election than ever 2 years from now, and it will not be a presidential year as well. It's going to be an off year. We've given him two more years to build strength, to build credibility, and to raise money. So it is going to be an even harder election 2 years from now. I just want to say that. So we need to get ready. We need to get unified. Republicans need to get unified, stop squabbling with each other about what they think are minor differences in platforms or how we look at the world. And we have to play like Democrats, which is support each other. Democrats, holy moly, they will support the most bat crap crazy people out there because they go behind closed doors and say, yep, we're going to support them. Okay. Right. And you've got all these good candidates as Republicans in North Carolina, and we're fighting over perceived differences when we do not have those differences. We're all constitutionalists and we're all ready to save America. So we got to get past that.
Amen to that. You've getting some shout outs in the comments. A bunch of folks talking about broads for book out. We need you in CD1. You got to run again. So for what it's worth, the people want to see you do that again. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been kicking it with retired Army Colonel Laurie Buckhout, a good friend of ours here on a Monday Night Urban Conservative. Make sure you follow us, give us a like, share, follow, subscribe on all your social media channels. We'd love you to support the Urban Conservative, so visit tuconservative.com. If you want to get a commercial, support the platform, or become a sponsor, we'd love to have you. For my twin brother, Raheem Architect Soto, I'm Abdul Ali. That's my friend Laurie Buckhout. This has been the Urban Conservative Podcast, y'all. Peace and love.
Love you.